Chapter 1. Clark Kent gazed sadly at the for sale sign in front of the farmhouse where he had been raised by George and Martha Kent. They were both dead now, and Clark had moved to Metropolis, where he had a job as a reporter for the Daily Planet. It was time to sell the farm. But before he sold it, he had something to take care of. The vessel that had brought him to Earth from Krypton those many years ago had to be hidden, permanently. Clark had no place to put it, and he couldn't permit the farm's new owners to find it accidentally. That would risk revealing his true identity as Superman. After putting fresh flowers on Ma and Pa Kent's graves, Clark returned to the barn. In no time, he had dug a deep hole. Satisfied that it would hide his secret forever, he went to the hayloft where the vessel was stored. He had seen the dust of an approaching car on the road. He had only a few minutes to complete his task. Clark brushed the hay off the old tarp and lifted the canvas cover. There was the metallic carcass of the ship that had carried him so long ago. He lifted it easily and set it in the newly dug hole. But before he could cover it again, there was a glow, green and eerie. It was the familiar green of Krypton. Then a voice emitted from the ship's control panel.
"The yellow sun of your new home,"
the voice said.
"Father?"
Clark uttered, recognizing Jor-El's voice from across the years. The voice continued mechanically.
"Placed aboard this vessel is an energy module, all that remains of Krypton, your mother planet. It is my last gift to you. Once removed, the ship will grow cold and silent, and you will finally be alone. The power of the module can be used but once. Use it wisely, my son."
The message ended. The vessel glowed green, and then darkened. Clark reached into the control panel and retrieved the module. Then he stepped away from the vessel and climbed up out of the pit he had dug. A whirlwind followed him out of the hole, filling in the hole completely. When at last the dust settled, Clark held the module tightly, knowing it was his final connection with his home planet.
"Clark, you in there?"
The voice came from the driveway. Clark knew it was the real estate agent who would sell the farm for him.
"Hello, Mr. Hornsby. It's been a long time."
Clark offered his hand.
"I've just been tidying up for when you show the place."
Clark said, explaining his presence.
"Didn't I mention that there was an offer to buy already? Sight unseen?"
That was what Clark had been afraid might happen. Anybody who would buy that land without even looking at it couldn't possibly care about it. It had to be a big developer.
"I'm sorry,"
Clark said politely.
"but I don't want to sell the farm to a developer. Whoever buys it has to want to keep a working farm. I don't think we need another shopping center,"
he explained. Hornsby frowned in frustration.
"Darn it, Clark Kent. Why are you so stubborn? Today nobody wants a farm. That's progress."
He strolled into the barn to look around. Suddenly, Clark was afraid he'd find a trace of the vessel he'd hidden so quickly. He ran into the barn after Mr. Hornsby, but there was no hint of the Kryptonian capsule. Hornsby looked around the barn, his eyes lighting on a dusty crib. Its sturdy wooden headboard was neatly broken in half. Mr. Hornsby laughed, recalling something.
"What a joker your dad was,"
he mused.
"I asked your dad one day once what happened to this crib. He said to me, real casual, you know, 'Oh, Clark must have kicked it.'"
Clark laughed along with him.
"Dad always liked a good joke,"
he said, ushering Mr. Hornsby back to his car. When Hornsby's car had disappeared in the dust on the long country road, Clark picked up his bat and baseball from high school. He tossed the ball into the air and took a swing at it with the bat. Crack!
"Home run!"
he cried proudly. The ball sailed endlessly into the sky, gone forever, and with it, Clark Kent's youth, on Earth and Krypton.